just keep getting bigger and bigger. And every single stop across this country just keeps getting bigger and bigger. So myself, Chris, and our entire team just went across the country again. And I want you guys to know you're absolutely not alone. It's amazing. The entire country is rising in every province, every town, and every city. And we're not going to stop. We are prepared and committed to continuing this until we free every single individual in this entire country. So I started a new association, and it's already gone national. It's called the Canadian Democratic Defense Association. We are present in every single city, in every single province in this entire country. Well organized, well put together, and we just partnered with the Canadian Voters Association. Now a little bit about that. Carrie Simpson, who is the president of the Canadian Voters Association, is the most dangerous woman in politics. This woman is responsible for completely de-seating the NDP in British Columbia from 1997 to 2001. We are going to be taking her methods and applying them on a national scale to remove every single corrupt politician and public minister from all of our society. But what is the solution to follow that? There is one. We are also going to be deploying a team of experts across the entire country through all the organizations that are participating within our associations to teach you, individual, competent, and qualified Canadians how to run and win independently on every level of government in Canada. With a full and committed effort, we can achieve this in no longer than 4 years. And I know that everybody's scared and looking for relief immediately, but the truth is the truth. Right now, there is absolutely not a political solution, Chris is right, to all the things we're facing. The only solution is gonna be united non-compliance. And I'm gonna let him expand on that when he comes up here. But first, I'd like to welcome our first speaker. Her name is Rena Malka. Rena, where'd she go? There she is. Come on up here, sweetheart. Everybody put your hands together. She's been my rock in my hard place over the last few weeks. Rena Malka.
Thank you, Kellyanne. I really appreciate Kellyanne. She's always the one to bring the trucks and the music equipment and speakers. She's a great organizer, just not here, but all of Canada. Her association, I should say, has about 500 organizations under its association. So she's tying the country together. And, you know, we also really appreciate everything Chris Sky is doing, driving across the country back and forth already a couple of times, since he's not allowed to fly. You know, he is a terrorist. And I want to make an announcement also on Saturday, tomorrow. We're having a big rally with Chris Sky again at Mel Lastman Square. That's in Toronto. That's between Finch and Shepherd on Yonge Street. Mel Lastman Square, it's the North York City Hall. And, you know, I personally have been protesting in Toronto for most of this past year. And unlike Kelly, who's been arrested 47 times, I haven't been arrested. I only got 4 tickets, 2 in one day. Now, one of my friends told me for their ticket, which they filed not guilty, they just got a court date. Guess for when?
2022.
2030. I haven't even gotten my court dates yet. I don't know when they're going to be. But so don't worry if you get a ticket for anything. If they lock us back down, which we believe they will, late September or early October, if they tell you to stay at home, go out. If they tell you to not assemble, assemble. If they tell you to have 5 people, have 6. If they tell you to be home at 9, be out at 10. United non-compliance. What Chris is preaching. Just say no. Do not follow any of these mandates, because the more you follow them, the more they're going to keep adding additional restrictions. I personally am in the mortgage business, and I'm considered to be one of the best in my business. I've been doing it for 47 years. And in April, I got the Lifetime Achievement Award, which is the highest award you can get in our industry. And our association was having its first indoor meeting on September the 29th, which would be a trade show and conference, for which I paid for to be an exhibitor and have a booth there. And on Thursday evening, when the announcement came out that there's going to be a vaccine pass required, on Friday morning I got an email from my association, because it comes out September 22nd and the event is 1 week later, that I cannot attend. They send me my money back because I'm not vaccinated. You have to be double vaxxed 14 days before the event to get in. Yes, that was very upsetting to me, that I cannot do business with my peers in that environment. Also, my family, I'm Jewish, they were in the Holocaust. My father was in Auschwitz, and his one brother. The other two brothers and sisters and parents and grandparents were all burned in the ovens. And I have it in my veins that I'm afraid of being taken away. They're building death camps all over Australia, US, Canada. If you go onto the CDC website and Google CDC shielding, you're going to find that right on the CDC website, this shielding approach, which they say it's going to be humanitarian isolation. Right. They're going to take away the people that they consider high risk.
They can try.
Like the elderly,
they can try.
Like the unvaccinated, and they can keep them there for 6 months or more. And in some of the places, they have incineration facilities right next door. So this is crazy. Who knows what they have planned for us in the future, since they want to depopulate. And don't think that it can't happen. How do you think Hitler killed millions of people? It started with propaganda and censorship, and slowly taking rights away one at a time, which is what they're doing here. And they're doing that in other countries too. I met a client of mine from Iran. He came here to get away from oppression. That's what they did there too, he said. Slowly, they took their rights away one by one. So it's great that we're all standing up here and fighting back, and I want to appreciate all the masculine men who are standing up. Not finished yet. And don't wear masks anywhere you go. Just say that you're exempt. Please, do not follow any of these guidelines.
No mask.
Okay, I'm going to give the mic back to Kellyanne because I think she wants me to stop talking. I can talk for hours. I have a big mouth. But anyways, if you want to know who I am, my name is Rena Malka. I have a Telegram group called Freedom Lovers Canada. And already we have almost 1,000 members in just a few weeks. So if you'd like to join Freedom Lovers Canada on Telegram, that would be great. You can also follow me on Instagram at Rena, R-E-N-A _ Malka, M-A-L-K-A-H. On there you'll see a video how I walked out of the airport, which I learned from Chris Sky what to say and do. I didn't get a ticket. They followed me out, the police, the security, even dogs. And I didn't go to the COVID hotel. I didn't get the PCR test, and it didn't have any consequences.
Yeah!
Anyway, so that means I was brave because I rehearsed every night before I came back from Africa what I was going to say and do at the airport. And I was very confident. You can see it on my Instagram. And anyways, this is not about me. The only reason I did it is to show other people what to do. And in my own, somebody did it that very same time when I was at the airport. They brought their son out of there. I saw him walk out because of what I did. And I know a lot of other people have followed what Chris Sky has done and what I have done and many others have done, and that's why we don't have a COVID hotel anymore.
Yeah!
You're welcome.
Thank you.
Okay, just to give a quick finish, I want you to also know that on our industry, we have a magazine, Canadian Mortgage Professionals, for all of Canada, and they chose to interview me about if mortgage brokers would have to get vaccinated. And so they featured that article, Over My Dead Body, it's called, and it's now printed or on the internet on Freedom Forum News. And that's how they knew that I wasn't vaccinated, and they sent me my money back the very next morning. Anyways, thank you all for standing up, and I'm going to give you back to Kellyanne.
Thank you, Rena. Okay, so for those of you out there who might not know me, my name is Kellyanne Wolf. I'm the CEO of the Canadian Democratic Defence Association. I'm the executive director for Hubs Over Masks, Mothers Against Distancing, We Are All Essential, Make Canada Free Again, and 447 other organizations across Canada. I'm also the liaison for some of the most amazing organizations that have developed in defense of your rights. And I would like to mention these organizations. Number one, Stand Up Canada. If you go to standupcanada.solutions, you will find a liability consent form. This form is to be used in response to your business or your employers trying to force you between vaccination and firing you. So you can go on there, and that will at least give you a little bit of help in order to extend your time as an employee until all these other organizations that are working so hard to defend you get to court. Another one of the organizations I'd like to absolutely draw attention to is Take Action Canada. They've done so much work, and they're working so diligently hard for all of you guys. I believe the Jason Coalition is somewhere here in the crowd handing out flyers in regards to Take Action. So please do seek him out and find that information as well. We also have organizations throughout Quebec, of which their names I would suck at saying, but I do want to bring some support to all of our French Canadians. I mean, if you look around Canada, they're so well organized in that province that they have up to 350,000 people marching at any given time throughout Quebec. So a big round of applause for our French Canadians, because they absolutely will see this. I am also the vice president of one of the biggest growing independent media companies in Canada. We have just gotten our own broadcaster and will now be developing a full broadcast media network equivalent to any other mainstream outlet. And that is freedomforumcanada.com, otherwise known as Freedom Forum News. You can find the groups on Facebook. Every single independent media contributor with an ounce of integrity in this country is a contributor, and we do post, we cross-post all of our information to bring you guys real information that is not oppressed. Now, I would like to address the Hamilton Police. To the Hamilton Police, thank you for being here in order to help keep the peace at these rallies. We appreciate your public service, your integrity, and your love for your communities. However, it is time that you start to take the example of the Metropolitan Toronto Police and call upon your people to support you in defending everybody against these mandatory, ridiculous vaccines and the ultimatum of losing their jobs. You are not exempt. Wearing a costume does not dehumanize you. You are just like us, and we will support you. So big round of applause for Hamilton Police Service. The next person I'm going to introduce is a wonderful speaker. His name is Jason. He goes by Jason Cosmic Truth Authority. He's got a YouTube channel, and he's a local person here in Hamilton. Everybody, big round of applause for Jason.
I don't have a YouTube channel anymore. Well, I do. It's an entertainment channel, but thanks anyways. And I have BitChute Rumble, my friends. If you think I have value to share with humanity, I appreciate that. I could use some help on social media. But we're all in this together. Thank you for celebrating and being loyal to humanity. Yeah. It's a glorious day here in Canada. Chris Sky has made some predictions that he claims has come true, and I hope that's correct. I'm going to make a prediction that I made on March 20th at beautiful Queen's Park in Toronto, right next door to this steel town city, Hamilton. And I said we're going to have a bottoms-up revolutionary movement in Canada, and we're going to do it. Yeah. And I think you know, everybody, and thank you so much for all your efforts, and I'm going to be giving you a lot of thank yous in this speech if you allow me. We're going to have a revolutionary bottoms-up movement of hard, powerful, peaceful, determined action. Am I right? Yeah. And I want all the cops, every single one of those cops, the good cops, good police out there, and all of our amazing Canadian military, our armed forces, and we got a lot of special forces. I may know a thing or two. They're in Canada, they're doing amazing work elsewhere, and we don't hear about them very much, do we? And they're fighting for us, believe me, my friends. And for all the amazing nurses out there that are speaking the power and the truth Let's celebrate them. And many nurses, everybody, they grow up like a lot of doctors in the big pharma system. And yes, I've been told a lot of them are brainwashed, some of them, but they're all amazing nurses that do not want to compromise their bodily health integrity, just like you, right? And we got to stand behind them. And I think I said in Toronto, everybody, I hope you agree, that maybe, just maybe, those amazing nurses and the staff in the hospital, I think they can put theoretically a stranglehold on upper management, because upper management of the hospital is all about making money. We got to put the pressure on them and our intellectually bankrupt government, right?
Yes.
And I keep hearing a lot, you know, truthers are afraid, you know, because we're awake. We hear a lot of the psyops that there'll be a fourth lockdown. I'm here to tell you, my friends, I truly believe there will never be another lockdown. And you know why? Because the people that are caught on corporate media, they're not bad people, but you know, millions of people are brainwashed and mind-controlled through the newspapers and TV, the lies. They will feel betrayed by our intellectually bankrupt government if there's another lockdown. Do you agree? When you think about it?
Yep.
So it's up to us, my friends, we the people. Thank you for your extolling efforts and being advocates for the truth. And thank you, everybody, for, what was I going to say? For asserting your commitment to individual rights of consciousness and freedom of assembly. And thank you, everybody, for asserting your personal authority and your commitment to social and human dignity.
Amen.
And I'm up here today, everybody, because you guys are an oasis of sanity, men and ladies and children out there, and we are here to protect our children and future generations. Am I right? And I'm up here today, everybody. If I didn't think we could have a bottoms-up revolutionary movement in Canada, again, hard, powerful, peaceful, determined action, I wouldn't be up here. And you guys wouldn't be here today. We are going to show the rest of the world, and we got a lot of allies. Never forget that, my friends. In Canada, you truth, health, freedom warriors, we're going to show how it's done in our community and our country. Am I right? Yes, thank you. And one of the solutions, and respectfully, I've called out Chris Sky respectfully. Chris Sky, I just want, you got to talk about the Canadian Bill of Rights. This is our solution, my friends, right here. Our fundamental rights and human rights and civil liberties, unrestricted. There are no loopholes with this miraculous piece of legislation, right?
Yes.
And so we got to ask, there's a lot of people that don't talk about the Canadian Bill of Rights. And Kellyanne Wolf, to her credit, she did discuss it in Ottawa. Thank you, Kelly. But you got to keep talking about it. We got to enforce our Canadian Bill of Rights and not use the Charter. The Charter has a calming clause and loopholes. We educate people, right? And the police and businesses on this. We are not going to use the Charter anymore. We are going to use the Canadian Bill of Rights, the law of the land.
Yes.
Yes. God, it shows, my friends, our rights are inalienable. Just like the U.S. Constitution, they come to us by divine creation. So they can't be trampled on. This is why we're going to win, my friends, and we're going to end a lot of this corruption, okay? And this revolutionary bottoms-up movement is going to be this year, and it's going to follow into next year, my friends, and we are going to crush the establishment.
Yeah!
And one last thing, everybody. After World War I, there was a lot of thought. How do we strengthen our common law rights, right, and make them robust and enforceable? And so we got an amazing, miraculous piece of legislation by Diefenbaker, signed it in 1961, the most patriotic of all prime ministers. And lastly, everybody, I want you to never forget this. I said in Toronto, you know, millions of people came to Canada and the United States, often risking their lives over the water, sometimes raising children and their families, but many of them, they didn't give a damn if they lived or died. They came here for absolute freedom and democracy. Thank you, everyone. I can't tell you how inspiring it is to be in front of you amazing Canadians. And I'm telling you, never feel alone, my friends. We have millions of truth, health, freedom warriors across Canada. And I want to give my dedication to the Montreal and Quebec. Kelly mentioned our amazing French people next door. And they got a lot of controlled opposition, my friends. But we are the truth. We are the light. Let's shine a light full of humanity, my friends. Thank you, everybody. Thank you, Anthony. Thank you, everybody, for holding this amazing event. I'm honored to speak with you guys. Thank you, Kelly, for the opportunity. Again, my friends, we are going to crush this shadow government here in Canada. And it's all because of you. Thank you.
Yeah!
Thank you, Jason, Cosmic Truth Authority, everybody. He's one... Right. He had some stuff to hand out. But this gentleman right here, I'm going to talk a little bit about who I am. But before I do that, Jason, Cosmic Truth Authority has definitely been with us since day one here in Hamilton. I truly have to give it up for him. Let's hear it for Jason one more time, guys. So, for those of you guys that don't know me, my name is Anthony Gagliardi. I am the founder of the Hamilton Freedom Movement. We have been out here on the streets for the last year and a half. We started out at Bayfront Park under the name Hugs Over Masks. We ended up changing the name because Hugs Over Masks did not resonate with the Hamilton people. The Hamilton Freedom Movement resonated better. So, we are a group of like-minded people that believe in the fundamental justice and the fundamental freedoms that this country was given, that this country that we fought for, that my great-grandfather fought for. All right? So, in saying that, if you guys want to ever get involved, you can find us on Telegram under Hamilton Freedom Movement. You can find us on Instagram under Hamilton Freedom Movement. We are a group of like-minded individuals. Our mandate is to have the Lieutenant Governor of Ontario arrested for several crimes against humanity. I'm going to touch base real quick. Our next speaker here will touch base more on the actual situation. So it states under the, sorry, give me 1 second. The orders in council they don't have a seal on them, meaning that the laws that they have implemented are illegal. It states under Section 2 of the Canadian Bill of Rights that every law of Canada, unless demonstrably justified as an act of federal parliament, should not withstand any other law. It is supreme law of Canada. So our Bill of Rights is gonna get us out of this. The Lieutenant Governor in handcuffs is gonna get us out of this. Our next speaker, he goes by the name of ER. He's been up here, he's been at Queen's Park, he's been everywhere. For the last 5 weeks, we've been rallying outside of Hamilton Police Station. ER, come on up here and explain what we've been doing for everybody.
Thank you. I'm just going to sit. I'm speaking to the police. The third sentence in the Canadian Bill of Rights, the last part of it,
Bring back the Bucky statue, bro.
Parliament shall ensure the protection of these rights and freedoms in Canada. Parliament. I'm speaking to the police. Parliament shall ensure the protection of these rights. These rights were not protected by Parliament. Parliament disobeyed a statute. Disobeying a statute is a violation of Criminal Code 126. Disobeying a statute. Every police officer in Ontario may arrest without warrant the Lieutenant Governor. Parliament, in Section 17 of the Charter, the 1867 Constitution Act, Parliament consists of the Queen, the Senate, and the House of Commons. I'm speaking to the police. Parliament disobeyed the Canadian Bill of Rights. They disobeyed a statute. The police may lawfully take into custody Parliament, which is the Queen, the Senate, and the House of Commons. That would mean senators and members of Parliament, and that would include the Prime Minister of Canada.
Yes! Yes! Lock them up!
These people committed indictable offenses. It would not be an interference in an election by arresting them right now. In fact, not taking them into custody for questioning would be interfering in an election.
Yes!
Back to the Lieutenant Governor. The Lieutenant Governor, the orders in council, the signatures are very troubling. The top signature on this page is that of Doug Ford. I don't like picking on Doug Ford. The top signature is the declaration of emergency. The bottom signature is the extension of the emergency. They don't look like the same signatures. Police, the orders in council may be forgery. Section 366 of the Canadian Criminal Code. Other signatures right here. This one signature has Doug Ford's last name with a break in it. It also has the word recommended underlined, which is not normal. The other signature has the capital D broken in a certain way. Another signature has the capital D broken in a certain way and the capital F broken in a certain way, and the underline is broken in a certain way. The bottom right signature on here, and I'm talking to the police, it's Doug Ford's signature without the Ford. I asked the police to lawfully take into custody and question the Lieutenant Governor for the authenticity of the signatures in the orders in council. By not doing so, you would be committing misconduct. You would be criminally liable, as well as civilly liable. In 1959, Supreme Court case Dedman versus the Queen. No, Roncarelli versus Duplessis. Roncarelli versus Duplessis. Supreme Court judge stated that no one is above the law, and acting outside of statutory authority will make you privately liable. The police have the duty to safeguard the fundamental rights and freedoms in the Human Rights Code, Section 1.2 of the Police Services Act. The police may lawfully take into custody the Lieutenant Governor, as per Section 42 of the Police Services Act, and by not doing so, you might be committing misconduct. And if you're committing misconduct because you're taking orders from somewhere else or you're scared for your paycheck, that would be breach of trust, Section 122 of the Canadian Criminal Code. Breach of trust is acting on your own private accord when you're discharging a public duty. Section 83.01 of the Canadian Criminal Code is about interference, obstruction of essential services. The courthouse right over there is a criminal court. You cannot file a criminal information against one of your brothers or sisters because that's been interfered with and disrupted. That's a violation of Section 83.01 bracket 1 bracket B. Terrorism. The police can immediately lawfully take into custody somebody who's committed terrorism. And I'm accusing the Lieutenant Governor, and I'm speaking to the police, to take the Lieutenant Governor in prison, into custody.
Lock them up!
Another essential service that's been disrupted and interfered with is buying groceries at a store. Some stores don't let you in. It's a necessity. That's also terrorism. Also, SARS-CoV-2 has never been isolated. Health Canada and Ontario Health does not have records of SARS-CoV-2. The Lieutenant Governor stated it using Section 7.0.1 bracket 3 of the Emergency Management Civil Protection Act that the resources in question created the need for an emergency. The report on the declaration of emergency never discussed directly the resources criteria nor the circumstances for using Section 7.0.1 bracket 3 of the Emergency Management Civil Protection Act. It is therefore deemed a hoax. Section 83.231 bracket 1, and I'm speaking to the police, is hoax regarding terrorism. You may lawfully take into custody the Lieutenant Governor.
Yes! Lock him up!
Since there's a death, as lockdown suicides become murder, I accuse, and I'm talking to the police, the Lieutenant Governor of committing criminal negligence causing death, Section 220 of the Canadian Criminal Code, and culpable homicide is murder, Section 229C of the Canadian Criminal Code. Police may use Section 1B of the Canadian Bill of Rights and Section 15 of the Charter, equal benefit and equal protection of the law. You can go after the Lieutenant Governor. And if a chief of police or any other police officer is obstructing or interfering, any other police officer may lawfully take into custody their chief or superintendent or their deputy chief. As well, the debt has skyrocketed. The provincial debt, for which the Lieutenant Governor did sign on, is approximately $400 billion. If we could get to a surplus of $250 million, it would take 1,600 years to pay off. 1,600 years is longer than the lifespan of a human being. A child born 1,000 years from now would be getting the bill without consent from those who did this. And that would be Criminal Code Section 380, fraud. I'm speaking to the police. Fraud, 380, the Lieutenant Governor. I think I have enough said.